I know when it's good because I know when players aren't giving everything that they can, right? Because I sometimes used to not give everything as well and say that I was, and it's just bullshit, isn't it?
So today is Monday, the very last day of the LEC Spring Split Group Stage, and SK Gaming has been fooled once but not twice, and Swiffer is here with me today after an important win in the tiebreaker against Rogue. How are you feeling after this?
Oh, I always knew deep down that we could play the game. It's nice to see that, I was correct. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I mean, I had a bit of a heart attack at the beginning of the game, but they just stayed calm and stuck to the game plan, you know?
Yeah, Rogue got the first blood, right? And it was a bit scary.
Yeah, botch dive, and then Smolder getting, I think like 4 plates or something. It was a bit much, but it is what it is.
The important part is that you guys actually made the playoffs. They're currently making the bracket as well, so I guess you'll have to see your opponent very soon. But yeah, no, I mean, good times overall. Still, though, it's been a bit rough, I guess, especially those past 2 weeks. You guys ended up in a accumulated one victory against KC and then 5 losses, I think. I guess 2 victories technically with this tiebreaker.
Hmm.
What do you think happened in these last 2 weeks, especially because SK Gaming has been looking better, especially like maybe in the winter split, and even week one was pretty decent as well.
Yep. So I think what's really important, like I said something similar when I was getting interviewed on the stage, but I think it's important to remember the context of like the games, um, especially like during the second week. The first game that we played, I think, yeah, we were coming off like I think there's a reflection of like scrims. It's a reflection of scrims, right? If we don't take it seriously and we don't put like at the amount of effort that we should, then yeah, of course we're gonna play like dog shit or like more relaxed on stage or whatever, however you want to frame it. Um, and I think that really like bit us in the ass in the second week because we had, I mean, the second game it wasn't like a really winning position, but it was a stable position, and we had the first Baron and whatever. But the other 2 games, we were definitely in very good positions, and the third game we almost threw the game, and it was like this Nexus thing that happened, and the first game against BDS we were up like 6 or 7K, and then like double inhib, and then we just lose focus at critical points in the game, and then I think that if we give up in scrims and we give up on stage, not actually like we try, but you can tell like when the fire like leaves the players, right? And I think that's what happened, and that's a reflection of how we practice.
I watched the behind the scene videos of SK Gaming on YouTube as well, and I heard a lot of keywords being thrown around. There's some history about miscommunication, maybe confidence issues as well. I mean, if you had to like summarize it very quickly, what do you think is like maybe the biggest factor for like these struggles recently?
Yeah, I think that people. I think there's a couple of things, right? I think people just notice that we're like when you start losing, your judgment on what is a good play or what is not a good play, uh, you start as soon as you doubt yourself, then like the play just becomes poor, right? Um, and that's an accumulative process. You don't just go from being really confident to not being really confident. You have to lose a lot, and you have to feel like people are not improving or you're not improving for that to really come into effect. And I genuinely think that whilst we say that we're confident sometimes, I don't believe that we were like in our own ability and like in the ability of our teammates. And that's what is really difficult to try and rebuild, and like to try to get a momentum shift in the middle of one of these splits, where you have 3 best of 1s in a row, and then you have 3 days of scrims where like it's just so difficult to try and hit the reset button when you start sliding down.
I think also one thing that is interesting is your history as a coach and also player, because I mean, first of all, a lot of people don't actually know that you've been coaching SK for almost 3 years now, and I mean, they also
Surprise.
don't know that you used to be one of the OPL's GOAT back in the day as a mid laner as well. And
Yep.
I
Had my
would like to
time.
ask you, yeah, I mean, for
Yeah.
sure. And I would like to ask you because obviously we've seen the coach cams and how you react to some of the plays. And I actually wonder, like, as an ex-pro player, is there sometimes some moments where you like feel like you wish you were on stage and you feel like you wouldn't do those mistakes, or is it just frustration that like the players are not executing properly and stuff?
No, I think as soon as I became a coach back on Excel, um, I mean I knew that I was doing it because the desire to actually play the game had completely like I knew that I just couldn't actually I didn't have the drive to do it. I mean, it was just really challenging for me to get through the grind. Um, and as soon as that transition happened, I never really felt that I didn't feel like maybe once I felt the desire to play like competitive, but nah, it's it's not for me. I feel like I feel like I would just crack under the pressure now. So nah, I'm just happy to try and facilitate it. Um, and like I know when it's good because I know when players aren't giving everything they can, right? Because I sometimes used to not give everything as well and say that I was, and it's just bullshit, isn't it? So that's an advantage, I suppose.
Are you confident that this lineup could be the lineup that maybe like puts SK back on top of Europe? Because we saw that stint of greatness, especially in the winter split, even if now it's a bit rocky.
Yeah, this is it. I think that the foundation is there for like a very solid team, and I think that you don't need you don't. I mean, I think that we have five very talented players. You don't need the five best. I mean, you know that super teams don't work. You don't need the five best players in every single position to work well together. You just need everyone to understand what their role is in the game, and I think that's actually maybe a big reason why we struggled a bit, um, because I think we lost sight of what people were really good at or what their strengths were. And that is something that I genuinely think we were reminded of today, right before this last game that we played. And I think if we keep that focus, just narrow that, know who we are, I don't see a reason why we can't.
Just in, by the way, I don't know if you've known already, but I saw that you are officially facing Vitality in the first match of the playoffs, by the way. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, they stomped us in the last time we played. They stomped us in the last playoffs that we played. I think they prepared a really good strategy into us. So I'm not going to take that lightly again. It was actually quite unexpected. I didn't think that they would do what they did. I think they're a very strong team. I think they're quite creative. Much respect for their coaching staff as well as their players. So yeah, it's a tough one, but like we have to beat them to win. We have to beat everyone to win. So starts here.
Obviously, as well, like right now, after today, and I mean the last few weeks, I think a lot of people maybe won't believe in SK, but if you had like a few sentences, just like two or three sentences to try and convince the fans to believe in SK Gaming, what would they be?
Um, we'll fix our mid game. Fix our mid game. We'll stop throwing games. We'll play to our strengths.
Perfect. That would love to hear that. The SK Knights will be greatly happy to
SK
hear that as
Knights.
well.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Swiffer. I hope that you have a great small break. Unfortunately, you don't have too much time to rest before playoffs, but still. And
Yep.
hopefully
Thank
the
you.
team will be doing great in playoffs.
Cheers. Thank you very much for your time as well.